I have a dumb question,
Yep.
and I don't remember. Something the size of a Volkswagen is pretty good size.
Yeah, right.
Mars has a pretty good gravitational field. How does it compare to ours? Stronger?
One third our gravity.
Okay, about a third our gravity.
And the size of the planet is about half the size of Earth.
Wouldn't that require quite a bit of retrofire fuel to keep from crashing instead of landing?
They use parachutes. Mars has a thin atmosphere. Unlike the Moon, you can use parachutes to get down safely to the surface. And the last few 100 feet or so, they used not retro rockets, but like descent rockets that cushioned the final 100 feet so they could land without the parachutes falling over the spacecraft.
That answers it. Just one other question takes you away for a second. There's a recent story, Richard, about the atmosphere on Mars changing.
Yeah.
A big story. Now, I don't know if you've heard this, but they now claim there's a lot more, suddenly there is more moisture in the atmosphere, and how can that be?
Well, we know that there's a lot of stuff locked up in the soil and in the polar caps in what's called the regolith, or in this term, in this sense, it's really permafrost.
Mm-hmm.
If you warm the place up a little bit, more of that stuff is going to thaw and be released into the atmosphere. In fact, there are some geologists, based on the Viking data and previous observations from the Mariner series, and even going back to the terrestrial telescopic data, who think that Mars, like the Earth, goes through long cyclic ice age swings in its climate, and that during warm periods, you can actually get the surface to thaw out a bit, and the stuff comes out and fills the atmosphere. So the atmosphere goes up and down in pressure, and in composition it changes, and there is more moisture. And if it gets far enough, you actually get enough moisture in the air where it could rain. But it hasn't rained in probably 500 million years, according to these geologists. So we're not looking at something that drastic. But there are subtle variations, and Viking data actually predicted that those things could possibly occur. And I guess now the new Hubble data, new observations made from the Hubble telescope, now that it has been fixed, which you've seen on the internet, some of those stunning, full disk images in color.
Oh, yes.
Those indicate that, yes, there are changes in the atmosphere, and that these are accounted for by possible changes in solar energy output or other things that would change a whole climatology over a long time.
So interesting, in a way you could say then Mars has global warming, even though it doesn't have a lot of factories and people in trouble.
That's right. And that, of course, gets to why the Earth is going through global warming.